Hello, this video tutorial is going to be on Unit 3, Activity 1. And Unit 3 is going to focus on media. Media is a topic in all English classes in all Ontario schools. It's considered a part of English the same way that reading and writing and oral communication is. And so we'll take it just as seriously, and it'll have its own unit. And so what we're going to focus on in Activity 1 is media literacy to start with. Media literacy is the term that we use to explain what we need to understand about media in order to be successful in our own lives and in society. And so we'll start with trying to define what is media. Take a look at this YouTube video here. It'll give you a pretty detailed explanation. Media is a lot of different things. Computers, television, cell phones, radio, video games, movies, TV. Media is, as we'll find out in this activity, everywhere, and it's pretty impossible to avoid. After we understand how big media is and how much media is around us, we'll take a look at what is media literacy. What does it mean to understand media and to understand how it's affecting us? And so this will be kind of an overall topic throughout the whole unit. We'll be working on how to become media literate. And these 4 ideas here are kind of a summary for the whole unit. I would maybe take notes of these ideas or keep them in mind because we'll come back to them a lot. The first one is think critically. The idea with media literacy is that when we see media messages, when we're watching television, when we're listening to music, when we're on the internet, we should be thinking critically about what we're reading or listening to or watching. We shouldn't just take that information in and not think about it. There are messages that are coming at us, and there are ideas, and we need to recognize that and pay attention to that. Secondly, become a smart consumer of products and information. If we are media literate, then we have a better understanding of advertising and how products and information are being sold to us, and hopefully we can pay more attention to that and make better decisions when we buy things and when we decide to watch or listen or read things. Create media responsibly. We're at a point now where everyone can create media. It used to be, you had to own a TV station, or you had to have a newspaper, or you had to work at a radio station in order to have your voice heard in the media. But now with social media and the internet, everyone can create their own media messages. And so what we'll talk about is how to do that responsibly and how to do that successfully. We hear about people, unfortunately, all the time getting in trouble because of things that they posted on the internet or because of things that happened when they were using social media. And so we'll talk about how we need to use media responsibly. And then lastly, we want to be media literate so that we can identify the role of media in our culture. Media has a tremendous role in how we interact with each other and how we think, and we'll try to talk about how important that role is. Everyone has their own opinion, but a lot of people will argue that media impacts our lives more than anything else. It's all around us all day long, and we can't help but be influenced by it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through 3 stages of media literacy, and the one we're going to focus on in this activity is stage 1, becoming aware of the media choices you make. What we're going to do in this activity is we're going to look at what you read and watch and listen to. And so if we go down to part 2, we have media consumption. And as I said, we're going to focus on the idea of media is everywhere, right? And they'll give you some statistics in this section, and this one is the one that stands out to me. 9 hours and 50 minutes. That's how much the average Canadian spends using media every day. And so if you think about that, 9 hours and 50 minutes, that's more time than we sleep, more time than we work, more time than we study, maybe more time than we spend with our families. That's a humongous amount of time that the average Canadian is spending with media. And so if we're spending that much time with something, we should pay a lot of attention to it and recognize and think about how it affects our lives. Now, it used to be, as I said, that media was TV, radio, newspapers, right? But now the internet makes up a lot of what is our media and social media. And so what you have here is an interesting graphic that shows by the year 2021, so by next year, Canadians will be spending more time on digital media than they will on traditional media. So they'll be spending more time online and using social media than they do watching TV or listening to a radio or reading, reading print. So media is obviously changing. It's different than it's ever been before. Lastly, what you'll see here is it'll say to move on to the assignment, and I'll talk about the assignment in another video, but it'll be very important that you think about your media consumption, your personal use of media, because that's what the assignment is going to be about. Is going to be about you paying attention to what you read, listen to, and watch.